In between programming, there are sort of infographics that share information about community events or things happening at your school. It's just a good additional way to get information out to the community. So I'm going to show you how to create your own graphics to submit to me that we can get on the air. I issued each of the schools a login and a password. If you've forgotten what those are, please contact me and I will get you set up. This is my test account to show you how to do this. You're going to have very few options here when you log into the educational channel. And by the way, this is the address right here if you need it. I know that's kind of complicated to type in, so I would suggest that you do that once and go ahead and bookmark it or favorite it. So you have a few options. You're going to go to Carousel and you're going to go to New Bulletin. I've left you with a few templates to work from, and I also created a basic template for each one of the schools represented by the southwest suburbs, just in case you needed something to get started. You didn't feel like creating your own graphic, so you wanted something that kind of represented your school, and you just put text on it and submit it to me. There is one of those in your body of templates to choose from. In this case, I've uploaded rich fields just to use as an example. So you could grab any one of these right here, and if you click on it, you can go to this area over here, this little page, this dog-eared page, edit template. You could bring this up and just start working from here, selecting the header and the body. And over here on your left are all kinds of properties to change the font, the color, things of the sort before you save and exit. I'm going to go ahead and work with the school example, however. So I'm going to cancel out of here and go back to the front page. So go ahead and pick a template that appeals to you. And what you're going to do here is go over to this little dog-eared piece of paper, which if you hover over it, it says Edit Template. The other options are Update Preview or Full Screen Preview, but we haven't done anything with this really yet, so let's not, shall we? So we're going to go into Edit Mode. And this is totally blank. We just have a background. So we need to start adding text blocks to this. Okay, so we're gonna go New, and it's just gonna throw this random block out here. Typically, a good way to think about breaking up the space is making 2 or 3 blocks, one being a header block, the other one being here as a body, and then maybe you can make like a third down here, footer, with like information. For details, call this number or visit this website. To resize the blocks or move them around, you just hover over them and you can grab. You can move it up and down. You can resize it by grabbing an edge over here and pulling it larger or smaller. What I would strongly suggest, though, is you don't put any type right up against the edge. Just give it a little bit of breathing room, because sometimes that can get cut off on television. So we're going to go ahead, and that's going to be our header. We could name this header. And that's simply the name. That doesn't affect the text inside. Another way to resize these blocks and move them around is using these sliders under size and position. So you can go ahead and do that. And I will let you play around with this stuff. First thing I would like to do is get rid of the outline around this header. It kind of looks okay, but from a design perspective, the general rule of thumb is just because you can add a particular effect or feature doesn't mean you necessarily should. So if you're looking at something and it doesn't improve the legibility of the text, I would say don't necessarily use it. So I'm going to text outline. I'm unclicking that. Okay. as far as changing the content of what this says, I believe we go to text right here and we'll type this in. Let's call this high school sock hop. Boom. Okay. So that's our event. That's what's coming up here. We can change the text color right here. We'll open up this palette, and you can just hover over whatever color you want. And if I click in red, it's got the slider over here for different values of that red. So you actually have to bring that up before you see change in color. So we'll go ahead and we'll go with that color, even though I like the black better. And let's go ahead and create another block. We'll go new. That's just going to hover over that. We'll take it down to where we want. I'm going to go ahead and manually resize this because I prefer doing that than using these size and position sliders. You might be looking at that saying, wow, that is really, really large text. Well, the text defaults to filling up the entire area. We can certainly change that. If we go down to font here, it says size text to fit, and you could uncheck that and it will default to a small size, and you can manually choose your size here. But you might want to consider leaving this checked because as you fill it with information, with copy, essentially, it will get smaller and it will actually kind of size itself pretty nicely. Okay, so when we click on text here, here is where we are going to put our copy. So join us for an evening of 50s fun Saturday from 7 p.m. to bring your poodle skirt and motor cycle jacket. Okay. And you'll see the text gets smaller because it automatically goes ahead and tries to fit that in there. But again, it is an option to go ahead and uncheck size text to fit. And then you could go ahead and just choose a size. 58 is actually too big. Maybe go down to 48. Okay, that's fine. Text alignment. You can have it centered, left, right. We're going to go ahead, we're going to leave it centered. And I have changed my mind. I do want it to fit the block. We are going to get rid of this outline again and uncheck draw an outliner on text. Okay. And one thing that would make this more legible is to change the color of this typeface. So let's go up to font. Text color, and I'm going to bring my little crosshairs down to the white end of this and bring this slider all the way up. And now it is white. Okay. One more block. We're going to go new. We'll call this footer. Okay. And bring this down here. I'm going to just sort of resize this. Okay. And over here. Okay. So we are going to uncheck that outline again. Go to text, change the color, bring it up to white, and type in our information. Contact Rock Enroll High School for more info. Okay. And there we go. That is our bulletin. And so that is going to run on channel 14 and go into the regular rotation. Please feel free to play around with these other options. Just keep in mind that when in doubt, simpler is better. One thing I should maybe mention right here, like if we go to font and we select the header, you can change the typeface right here. Just because you have options like corn dog doesn't mean you should use it. Safe bets are kind of respectable, tried and true typefaces like Arial, Arial Black. If you're looking for a serif font, Georgia is a good, reliable font as well. Maybe that's a little classier and we could have done the whole thing like this. Anyways, I'm just going to leave it like that for right now. So hit save and exit. Okay, so here is our bulletin. We're going to go ahead and hit continue. You can go ahead and choose when you would like this to be played. Let's say your sock hop is on July 5th. Well, then you would want it to start running today and probably right through July 5th. You can choose what time you want it to run up to. Right now it's all the way through July 5th. You can have it run on particular days or every day. Or if you just want it to run indefinitely, this is something that's ongoing, you could just check until manually turned off. As the community administrator, I can't guarantee you that I'm going to have a bulletin play up there for years and years and years. But go ahead, if you think it's something that deserves to be up there for a really long period of time, just go ahead and check this, and if there's an issue, we will certainly be in touch later. So you can go into more at this point. A lot of this you can just leave it be. The system is pretty good at leaving it up there for a reasonable period of time. If you have a lot of text, you might want to go ahead and click that and bump it up to 15 seconds. I think the average is about 10 seconds. Leave this should background audio be faded down for this bulletin. There is background audio running under channel 14. It is the classical music station. Unless you are submitting like a flash file with sound effects or a video file with audio, you should leave this as no. And typically, if you are submitting some kind of file with sound effects, the system is usually smart enough to figure that out, and you'll find that that would just be already checked yes. But typically you can leave so much of this as it is. If you go into more again, you will see that you can add another bulletin right after this group. Let's say this high school sock hop. There was all kinds of details that you wanted to share, so much so that it spills over to 2 different bulletins. You could go ahead and click yes at this point. Okay. And then hit edit here and treat it like it's your second bulletin. Okay, continue. And finish. Okay, you would see your 2 different bulletins at this point, assuming that you made edits in the previous step, and you would just hit OK, and then it would accept those 2 bulletins to run in tandem as a 2-for-1 package. So this is our bulletin. We're going to go ahead and hit save and exit. Okay. And we are going to hit continue. And again, this is where you can schedule your bulletin. I'm going to leave it until manually turned off, which again is not a wise decision if your bulletin has an expiration date. We will walk through the more stuff again. Okay, most of these are fine just to leave as is for reasons we previously went over. More again. Do you want to go ahead and add another bulletin that would appear after this bulletin in a group? We're going to say no this time. We just want this one bulletin. And finally, you will come to this screen. It says you are about to add this bulletin to the system. so hit OK or cancel. Again, if you hit cancel at this point, you won't go to a previous screen and get to edit this. It's just going to delete all of your work. So let's say you're at this point and you see a misspelling or something. You are best plugging through, hitting OK, and then editing it after the fact. But for the time being, we like this. We're going to hit OK. And now it doesn't tell you anything. What you have to assume is that it has been submitted. At that point, it goes into a queue called waiting bulletins that only I can see as the administrator. So ultimately, I have to approve these before they can run. I do check the system daily, Monday through Friday, to look for submitted bulletins. I don't require you to tell me if you've added a new bulletin, but feel free to drop me a line. Also assume that unless there is a problem with the bulletin, maybe it's completely illegible, or there's typos or grammatical errors, egregious errors, then assume that it's going to run and that I'm going to approve it. If you would like me to contact you and let you know, yes, I did approve that, just drop me a line and I'll let you know. Anyways, you do have another option as well. You don't have to necessarily build a graphic from scratch. You could go ahead and upload an already created graphic. Perhaps you have a graphic designer on your staff who can make these bulletins in Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator, and you just want to go ahead and upload that file. You are totally free to do so. Just keep in mind that the graphics need to be 800 pixels wide by 600 pixels high. They should be in JPEG or PNG format. So what I do is I like to create my own bulletins for channel 14 and 15. So I upload an image file, and then I go ahead and navigate for that file. I threw an example file out there on my desktop for me to upload, and I called it the Please Stand By Example JPEG. This graphic is a little bit crazy because I got kind of creative with the technical difficulties. Test pattern, and I'm going to go ahead and hit upload. And here it is. Obviously you can't edit it at all because it is a static flattened file. If you want to rename this something else, that makes it easier for you to find later, please do. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, and it will bring you to the same screens now. You can schedule this when you want it to be scheduled. You can add another bulletin to the mix right behind it, or you can just hit finish from here. And you're about to add this bulletin to the system. Hit OK if you are all right with that it has been submitted to me. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial.